Hey there, it's Nev from the EVERBLACK Podcast here, just letting you guys know that for the entire month of June, we're taking part in the Starlight Children's Foundation's Stream Raiser campaign, where we're going to try and raise some funds for some sick kids and teenagers and help brighten their lives a little bit. You can donate, share, whatever you can do to help out, it's much appreciated. And we've got some awesome guests coming up for this month as well. All the links are down here. In the meantime, stay positive, stay heavy, horns high.
Hey, this is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here, and you're listening to the EVERBLACK Podcast.
Hey, humans, Carl, this is Odorous from Guam.
Going to Battle Fear Factory.
This is George Corshunter Fisher.
This is Gatsby Double Drop.
This is Wade from Our Last Enemy.
Mike Nick from Suicidal Tendencies.
Hey, this is Wednesday 13.
This is
Rex from Kill Devil Hill.
This is Gary from Sepultura. You're listening to EVERBLACK Podcast.
Alright, before we go into this episode, we just need to give a shout out to our show supporters, Blacklight Art and Design, who are our go-to for all our screen printing needs. Check them out at blacklightad.com.au. RW Promotion, who are the best in the biz for all your promotional printing needs like stickers, flyers, banners, badges, and more. Go order yours through rwpromotion.com.au. The brutal occult clothing brand Electric Witch, who have amazing apparel from shirts to hoodies to hats to beanies and more. Check out their full range at electricwitch.com.au and put in the code EVERBLACK for 20% off your order. Also, Lumberpunks Axe Throwing Club, who have venues on the Gold Coast, Brisbane and Perth, and it is a guaranteed good time for any occasion like parties, bucks, hens nights, or just hanging out with your mates. You can even join a team. Put in the code EVERBLACK for 10% off your booking at lumberpunks.com. Don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the EVERBLACK podcast through Spotify, iTunes, YouTube and Facebook, and check out all our articles at everblackmedia.com. All right, on with the show. Jeff, thanks for joining us on the show, mate. How's everything going over there for you?
Things are going really well. We released a single called Never Enough 3 weeks ago now, and it's on the 20th of May, and it's already over 150,000 views on YouTube and doing really good on Spotify. And we have another one getting ready to come out. We're just putting together a theatrical and band performance mixed video for that one, so we're gonna wait till we have that ready and do it all together. New music's happening, so that's always good.
How's lockdown been for you over there? I mean, it sounds like you've been staying pretty productive through it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different world with the pandemic and all the protests, whether they stay peaceful or sometimes they seem to be instigated by outside forces, and that's not good. I want change, and I want everybody to be treated equal, but there's no reason for outside influences to come in and stir up things that were supposed to be peaceful. But I'm hoping we can get back to some semblance of where things were, at least being able to leave your house without worrying about catching that virus and being able to do shows again normally and having festivals come back and all that stuff. But we're pretty happy just chilling at home for the most part.
Well, in regards to the single Never Enough, it's heavy and it sounds dark, but it seems to come from a very positive mindset and something that I think the world really needs right now. You know, what inspired this one for you?
I did a lot of darker influence stuff back in the day. I wasn't ever leaning fully in that direction. It just seems like a lot of depressing subject would come up. And when I left Purgatory, I wanted to make the music all about from a serial killer perspective, just because of the anger I had then. But I've come to a lot better place. My wife, since she wasn't feeling well, we went to her church that she went to as a child, and I really felt great there. And it was a very musical church, and everybody was very uplifting, and I think it has changed me for the much better. So the songs kind of reflect on how I feel now, and I feel like it's a better path to try and lift people up than bring them down.
Absolutely, man, and it hits all the right notes there, you know, and all the right beats. And I think, as I said, I think it's something that we need right now. We need that positivity through music. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you wrote a song with your Ex-Mushroomhead bandmate Thomas Church, and you've also starred Doom Candy with as well. I really like what you guys have cooked up together. And I think, you know, you're an excellent songwriting team. How has it been working with him since you got both left Mushroomhead?
Tommy has a lot of heart. I think probably the person with the most I've met in the music business. To be able to create what we want to create and not really have a boss per se is a really fun experience because I could never get used to that. I don't think art's supposed to come from that. He reminds me in a lot of ways of the style of play of J.J. Righteous from the earlier Mushroomhead, and it's really fun time to be an artist with so many diverse canvases from all over the map, style-wise alone, and it's something I haven't been able to do for a long time, and it's eye-opening in a lot of ways.
And I'm loving it. I love what you're doing right now, man. It's as
Thank
a
you.
fan, like it's definitely got a few flavors in there that are definitely different, and I love it. Especially like in the lead up to our chat, I actually revisited your solo album, the new Psychedelia, and man, it's still great. And you know, you actually toured Australia for it as well. You know, have you revisited that material yourself personally? You know, do you still play some of that stuff live?
We did Cynicism and we gave Eyes of the Righteous a go, and I feel like I want to work mostly with the newest stuff just to get it out there because we have a backlog to release. We've done some of it live, but every time I think of adding a song from that, I fall in love with one of our new tracks, and I do want to go back and maybe even edit what goes to the live performance on a couple to make them this version of that band. But I do love those songs a lot, and you never really know what could happen.
As I said, yeah, that saw you tour Australia for the first time. How was that tour?
It was really fun. It was only 4 shows, which was not what I'm really used to. And then we flew between all the dates, so that was really a different experience too. And what was cool is my aunt, uncle, and cousins lived there for a lot of my childhood, first in Sydney and then in Perth. And I love all of Australia that I've seen, but those were really my favorite places, and I see why they like those themselves. And it was just really neat because we hadn't played a show anywhere else before those dates in Australia. Just be able to do that was really amazing.
And what about your live band now? Who's in that? Who you got playing?
My live band is Noah Shark Robertson. He was the drummer from Motor Grader and the Browning, and a band called Pinhead before that. My bass player's name is Stephen Lee Adams. He's a session guy, and he's toured with some bands. I can't really name any right off the top of my head right now. And then I have another singer named Ian D. He is an up-and-coming artist. He's got a couple projects on the side that you'll probably be hearing about in the next year or two. And then I'm open to adding in a second guitarist, keyboard player for live. I just haven't met the guy yet.
It's hard. It is hard to find the right. I mean, on any level, it's hard to find the right guys you can either gel with and can play. But
yeah, and then location would be part of it too. My band's really spread out right now. Tommy and Steven are in North Carolina, and then Noah's in Texas. Ian's the closest. He's in Michigan. So everything is from far apart from each other right now. But it'd be nice if we had another guy more local. But if it's a really talented guy that's got a great heart and the chemistry is great, I don't care if he's from anywhere.
How far apart is that? I mean, because I'm all the way down here in the arse end of the world. How far away do you guys sort of live? You know, was it a couple of hours away? Is that?
No, Carolina to Cleveland's about 9.5, 10, I believe.
Oh.
Maybe I'm underestimating. And then Texas is like driving. It's probably 30 hours, 25.
Brutal.
I'm probably way off my geography, so I'll probably hear about it. But it's what they call not close.
How does it go jamming and stuff? Like, say if you're going for a tour, do you just all meet up somewhere?
Yeah, everybody mostly comes to town here. Tommy actually stays here 90% of the time. It's just the pandemic took him back to family more, which I understand completely.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the only problem with that is we usually do 2 or 3 practices before we leave, and I really want to make it a well-oiled machine before we go out again. And with this break, it should be a lot more possible.
Yeah, it seems like things are starting to get a little bit better, and I hope it is for you guys over there too. I mean, we're just starting to book tiny shows here, like 60 people, tiny local shows, because it's capped. Hopefully it's going to open all up soon, so everyone can get back to. But I guess everyone's health is number one, especially. You know?
Yeah. I heard that. I heard a couple things that I know Slipknot's not booking until 2021, and I heard that normalcy of the live show Essence is supposed to return fall of 2021. And then I hear some shows coming up, but they're probably going to be smaller get-togethers. And then I heard about there's supposed to be a rave in town, but it's going to be in cars. So I'm not really positive how that works. Dance while seated.
It's I guess everyone can just honk their horns. I know they've done a couple of shows here. One didn't go very well. It was like a big name pop artists and stuff like that. They did a drive-in thing, and it was raining, and the vibe just wasn't there when you saw it on TV.
Yeah.
It's like, man,
if everybody went to a show with just people around every day, they form little hacky sack groups and space those perfectly, it may work. But if you're trying to mosh or really get into the normal show festivities, it'd be really tough to stay apart.
Yeah, well, that's it, man. No one's going to stick to that rule because it's just as soon as that hits you, you just want to get into it, eh?
I'm just really hopeful that something that remedies this or prevents it can be found soon. I think the pharmaceutical companies should shelf everything else they're trying to do. I think there's been enough attempts at curing diabetes or whatever for a long time. This should be priority one. I don't know if it is. Yeah,
well, I definitely hope they're doing something because we can't all live like this, especially
Yeah.
It's just people who are already sick or anything like that. It makes life very hard. So hopefully soon. But in regards to your live, your live show, would you look at incorporating any Mushroomhead songs into your live set as a way of honoring your past and trying to put everything of your career together, or is that something you just want to move on from completely?
I mean, we did Too Much Nothing for a minute, and we had Waylon Reavis guest a couple of times, and we did 1200. But I think I would stick mostly to the songs that I more or less sang more by myself or wrote a lot of or something like that. Like my favorite live song to do probably was Becoming Cold 216.
Oh, yeah.
So I may look to bring that in down the road. And I may even think about doing the Jeopardy Nothing version of something along the line here soon. Just a reinvent. So that would then most likely be part of the set.
Because that was the one thing that, as a young dude, I was drawn to was your voice. It was all, the big thing about the band for me was your voice, and has always been a big influence on me. So yeah, I identify a lot of those songs with you. So
yeah, I appreciate that, and it makes me happy that people say that, and I also don't mind if people aren't really into my voice, because I think if everyone liked the same thing, art and life in general, it would get boring pretty quick. I think the differences are, I welcome those unless they're out of line about what they say. I can take constructive criticism, but I really appreciate that people like the voice. It's really like I never had a one influence. I just would sing everything I ever heard on rock radio, and it probably helped shape me into something I feel a little different.
Well, that's the whole thing about it, is your voice is so distinct, and that's what makes it so special, man. And as I said, what drew me to it was, no one sounds like Jeffrey Nothing, and it's such a special thing. I can't hear it in other. You can hear influences in vocalists. You can pick it. I can't pick it with you, and that's something that I love.
I've been singing about 39 years on and off, and I started before that, like with a hairbrush microphone in the mirror when I was 6, and I had something around 14 trying to do Kiss covers, but yeah, I've had people pick names all along the way. Like in my more really heavy days, I would get John Bush, and then along the way of Mushroomhead, I got Ian Asbury, and there's like some things that are a little more evident than others, but I just sing what I feel, and I definitely have picked things up along the way that happen, whether it's a plan or subliminally in my head when I'm writing or tracking. But I just feel it's a lot better path. I think like Stone Temple's really cool. Scott could sound like 10 different people on one record, but I like the thought of no obvious only influence. I think that's a great way to go.
Absolutely. And, I see you've been selling off a lot of your memorabilia online, and, I totally understand where you're coming from with that. Is it, as from what you've said, it seems like it's a means of moving forward and letting go of the past, and at the same time, has that been difficult at all? Has there been certain things that you've been wanting to hold on to?
I feel grateful to have the things I want to remember most firmly in my head, and I have photos. I kept our first Blossom Music Center Derek Hess poster because it was our first like really large venue to play, and we sold out the pavilion alone of it, which is holds about 20,000 probably. And then I kept the more basic 2 gold records instead of the really laid out Scorpion King gold record, which I gave to my daughter, and then
awesome.
I sold the Along the Way Mushroomhead stamp gold record twice actually, and that helped get my car back from having a transmission rebuilt, supposedly replaced, but I'm going to go with rebuilt. But yeah, the memories will never go away, and I'm happy that a lot of it went to, or all of it went to really great homes, and I know those fans are really appreciating it. So that's a whole new life for that stuff that wouldn't have happened. So I think that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And as you know, like you mentioned Waylon before. I mean, you still keep in contact with him? Yeah,
we talk pretty regularly, and we are going to have some kind of surprise coming along. I don't know details of dates or anything yet. It's in the works, but there will be something coming for people that are into that combination.
He's a good dude. I like him a lot. He's
definitely is. We went through the wars together, so we're definitely kindred spirits on that. And Tommy's right there with us.
Man, he's. I met both of you guys at Soundwave here in when you were here in Brisbane, very briefly. But, it was good things, good guys. He's a funny guy. So, and he's doing really well with A Killer's Confession as well. So yeah, it's good to see both of you guys.
It's fun to have new paths that they're in their infancy a bit, so the exposure is a little smaller. But I like to climb all over again, and I like where they're both going.
As I've been saying, like your music for me has been a friend in some very dark times in my life, and has helped me personally through some pretty heavy stuff. And I'm not the only one who has felt that way. And you probably get messages from people all over the world about that. How they found.
Yeah, I mean, that is like the number one. I mean, you don't start out thinking I'm going to be in a band because I'm going to change people's lives, but for the times I've heard that it helped them get through sitting in their tank in Iraq or sitting in their basement contemplating life, or that is the most rewarding part. Like I could have never dreamed changing lives like that through words or songs. And I love playing in front of people and I love tracking, but the stories are really my favorite part.
And I guess you've found yourself in the same situation with music as well throughout the years. Who's been your go-to?
It's really interesting because I've had a lot of really good friends in my life, and I've had a lot of artists or bands that I really latched onto over a period of time, and it's always kind of changed with the years or decades or whatever. I love Grand Funk Railroad for the longest time. I found their Survival 8-track at the side of the road when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
Took it home and it worked, and that album, I mean, 2 of the 3 songs that really moved me were covers, and still they're amazing. Their version of Feeling All Right, their version of Give Me Shelter, and a song called I Can Feel 'Em in the Morning, talking about God, like walking through the battlefield and the shells flying by and all that stuff. It's just really moving, and it was amazing to me that they sold out Shea Stadium faster than the Beatles, and they're from a state over. I really liked the Beatles for a while. I really loved David Bowie for a long time. Glad Insane record, Diamond Dogs. And then I got more into straight up metal, and Priest and Maiden, Armored Saint. I love Metallica for a moment, but I don't recall when they were that band. And just different things. I mean, I even spread into other influences of genre. I love Bjork a lot.
Ah, yeah.
Just a lot of industrial, really, Die Krups or D Krups, I think they're pronounced. Just a lot of stuff that isn't household names all over, but just really intense, great music. I really enjoyed Metal Church. When they had David Wayne singing, he went on to do Reverend. He actually stayed at my house for a night on his tour.
Wow.
I met a lot of really great guys, like from playing festivals and stuff that I would never had a chance to know if not for being a musician. So it's really just that those personalities are really great, even if they aren't like my go-to music. I really like Lux, it's called, by Gemini Syndrome. I think Aaron's a really great talent and a very cool person. Yeah, it's just too many lists, really, and rack the brain. I really like UFO Lights Out. That was a really good album. And then Riot, I believe they're actually from Australia. They were a favorite for a long time. Fire Down Under was a great album, and Restless Breed, and I think Heavy Metal Machine, the third one was called. It's really a bummer. The vocalist of that band walked up on a robbery and tried to stop it, and I think he was stabbed to death, and that's
I didn't know that.
really messed up. Of the band Riot.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look into that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's full on, man. I guess, man, yeah, you've definitely had a very interesting life. Are you looking at writing a book or anything like that? Is that something on the cards?
I believe I'll need a co-writer. I have somebody in mind, and we have talked about it. It's just a matter of I would need to do some interviews with friends because I remember 95%, but there are little lapses in the story.
Especially those big tours, man. You guys definitely did some big tours.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah. Oh man. And talking about tours, is Australia? Can we see you back down here again at some point?
I feel like something will be coming once everything can be as much normal again as possible, and I look really forward to that. I love the dates with Head P and Soundwave, and third time will definitely be amazing.
Yeah, have to come down here, have a barbecue, hang out, show you some real Australian.
I think you can twist my arm.
Oh, mate, it's yeah. You won't want to leave. You should just move down here. Just
Yeah, we have actually talked about that.
Really?
Because we thought about moving recently, and why not make it a really large space traveled for that? We have some friends on there. That'd be great.
Well, we'd love to have you, mate. We'd adopt you. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Come to the Gold Coast or Brisbane, where it's nice and sunny, and you can crash with us for a while.
Yeah, we could arrange that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for hanging out on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time. All the best with what you got coming up, and stay in touch, bro.
For sure. Thank you so much, Neville.